Hello Exiles, Red Lord here. Today let's talk about the Foulborn Red Nightmare unique jewel and its build possibilities. So stay a while and listen. So to explain how it works, I opened up PoE and equipped the Foulborn Red Nightmare with the set modifier, and what it basically means is that all of the passives in this big radius that give you fire resistance, such as this one, or all elemental resistances, such as this one, are gonna give you not just those resistances, but also fire damage converted to chaos, which means that for this node, for example, we're gonna get 15% of fire damage converted to chaos. For this one, 5. For this one, 8, 3, 3, and 8 for this one, for total of 42% fire damage converted to chaos damage, as well as all of those resistances in this spot. Keep in mind that you can also, of course, use tattoos that give fire resistance. Each tattoo of Namahu Firewalker is going to give you 6% fire resistance, thus also give you 6% fire damage converted to chaos damage, and replace the strength small passives. So you can replace as many of these in this radius as you want, and each of these is going to give you also fire res and also the fire damage converted to chaos. However, keep in mind that these are a bit pricey this league. So in this example, Jewel Socket on the skill tree in the Marauder area, it is actually possible to get 100% of fire damage converted to chaos damage thanks to all of these resistance notables, as well as converting the strength into 6% fire res. But alternatively, if you don't want to just buy tattoos and get all the conversion on your skill tree, you can also sacrifice 2 points on your normal ascendancy and go for Lycia Ascendancy. For 2 points, you can get 50% of pretty much elemental damage converted to chaos damage. So even the fire, 50% of fire converted to chaos, and this would make it easier on your skill tree or on your budget if you cannot afford the tattoos, since they're like 60C, 80C each. Yeah, this is gonna make your life a lot easier. So why would you even convert to chaos damage? What's the point of all of this? Well, there are 3 main upsides that I can think of. First one being, monsters usually don't have chaos res, and if they have chaos res, it's not much. So overall, you're gonna deal more damage to monsters technically, because usually they have less chaos res, or you just use despair, and that's pretty much all you need to. For example, for endgame bosses, they usually have 30% chaos res, and the max level despair is gonna strip away 30 resistances. So against endgame bosses, it is really easy. You don't have to worry about much penetration or any shenanigans like that. You just simply use despair, and the enemy suddenly is on 0% resist. The other big upside of converting to chaos damage actually is that chaos damage inherently ignores energy shield. That means, for example, the modifier that gives like up to 90% maximum life as extra ES, basically giving monsters double the hit points with map modifier scaling. You completely ignore that. That modifier doesn't exist for you, so if you're doing some kind of juiced map where you already need so much single target, you can just completely ignore this modifier because chaos damage completely bypasses energy shield. And the third and maybe the biggest upside of converting to chaos damage actually is enabling you to use Withered debuff. And Withered debuff, just in case you don't know, it's 6% increased chaos damage taken for each Withered debuff, and this stacks up to 15 times, thus giving you up to 90% more damage, basically. And keep in mind that the Withered effect itself can be scaled, so instead of 6% damage taken for each debuff, it can do 7% damage taken for each debuff. So these upsides combined actually give you quite a bit more damage compared to your stock standard just fire damage that has what? Ignite, and that's it. And if you're not scaling into Ignite damage, Ignite's probably not gonna do you pretty much any good. Compared to chaos damage, you get all of these upsides. So now let me give you two build examples that I'm thinking about when it comes to converting fire damage to chaos damage. So first one, of course, has to be strength stacking, because what else? And if I'm saying strength stacking, I mean Replica Alberon's Warpath, Brutus Lead Sprinkler, and then the Balance of Terror unique jewel with the Inflict Withered for 2 seconds if you've cast Despair in the past 10 seconds. Slap on some attack skill that scales nicely with attack speed, for example Cyclone or Blade Flurry, to actually have the maximum effect of Wither or have the maximum of Withered stacks applied, and just from then on, just grab strength on the skill tree, grab strength on the rest of your gear, and enjoy some chaos damage character. If you've converted the fire damage to chaos, of course. But of course, this doesn't have to be only melee, since the flat damage you get from Replica Alberons works for all attacks, so you can even be ranged, use for example bows, or more appealing, use wands, of course. Why would you use wands? It's because there actually is a synthesis implicit modifier that can roll on a wand that says pretty much the same thing as Brutus Lead Sprinkler does. And it says adds 2 to 4 fire damage to attacks with this weapon per 10 strength. So you can also do this whole fire to chaos conversion thing, strength stacking, with a wonder build. And if you think about it, it is ideal scenario for a wonder, because what wonders usually struggle with is actually getting flat damage to the build. And yeah, pretty much this modifier implicit wand is gonna give you flat fire damage, then you convert it into chaos, and the rest of the flat damage you're gonna get from Replica Alberons with the same scaling per strength. So yeah, match made in heaven if you ask me. So the next build that would be enabled by actually converting fire damage to chaos damage I'm thinking about is something like Battle Mage, Cast on Crit, Martyr of Innocence unique staff that gives you built-in Battle Mage, so you don't have to go just Inquisitor, you can go Juggernaut for example. And yeah, then just getting flat fire damage, both for attacks and for spells, because of Battle Mage, thanks to the Martyr of Innocence, and then using something like Cyclone, Cast on Crit, Blazing Salvo, or Rolling Magma, or pretty much any spell skill, as long as you find a way how to get enough flat fire damage to the skill. So, but ideally maybe something like Blazing Salvo, because it already starts off with some fire damage, and then Blazing Salvo has the potential to hit multiple times with each cast, with each trigger of Cast on Crit, because it shoots out many projectiles. And yeah, then using all of these projectiles to poison and combining it with, for example, the Foulborn Emblamer unique gloves that give you the effect of on killing a poison enemy, nearby enemies are poisoned, basically giving you a poison proliferation for a glove slot. However, the most tricky thing I can think about on this build would actually be trying to get the 100% chance to poison. That would, I think, be quite hard. But yeah, other than that, maybe path all the way to Perfect Agony or get it in some other way. There's just honestly so many possibilities with converting fire damage to chaos damage, and I just love it. Not in terms of like pure attack builds, but also spell builds with Battle Mage, or also just enabling the left side to make a poison build easier, something like that. I just love the fact about this unique jewel that it enables so many playstyles, so many build possibilities. And why do I even like this interaction so much? Why do I love the fact that we now get to convert damage into chaos damage properly? I just love it because it opens up, as I said, so many build possibilities and keeps the game fresh, really fresh. The builds are different, the economy is a bit different, and it just adds this touch of uniqueness to pretty much almost every build that plays with this. Because while yes, the idea, for example, using fire damage, converting it to chaos to then poison, could be shared across many of these builds, but while the idea is the same, to poison essentially with your fire damage almost, or convert it to chaos and then poison, It could be many different builds. It could be just self-cast, poisoning, spell. It could be cast on crit variation. It could be cast on crit variation with Battle Mage, where actually, for example, your Cyclone would also deal some damage. Or it could even be, I don't know, pure attack poison build with strength stacking and replica Alberons. Sky is the limit, really. And while yes, of course, you could argue that not every single one of these builds is gonna be amazing. Yep, you'd be right, I agree. Probably not every single one of these builds would be amazing, but for the person building it, if they make it work, it will be ton of fun. It will be something very different from everyone else. And in my opinion anyways, not every build has to do Ubers. And for the baseline game, it is not that hard to make a build to even crush the baseline game. So yeah, with that said, thank you very much for watching, Exiles, and see you in the next one.